Yo, what up? This is your boy Soulo. Now we're back here again with another one. And this is going to be about the ego and how the ego can prevent you from learning more, expanding your awareness, and just being more connected to yourself and God, and, just trying to understand the world better and why it is the way it is. And it's not based on, whatever biases you come up with, like some limitation, like, oh, a government is under control, but in reality is people let it be in control because of their biases and their comfort zone. So if you want to step it up even further, you need to change your mindset for the better, for the environment, for nature, for God. And for those who think God is not real, that just means you're far away from God and you don't understand it. And not in religious terms. Religion is lostness as well. Science is lostness as well. So there's truth in everything, but that's not the truth. That's not the highest truth. And we're going to start by saying this. The land has been colonized, and they gave you all this retarded limitations that you call religion and science. So the indigenous people already knew that they were connected to the earth, the nature around us. We are self-creating ourselves, and we live inside of God. Just like you have blood cells inside of you, which is creating all your organs and all these things. We are self-creating ourselves, and we are creating the support system for God outside of us. The nature's outside of us. The nature's inside of us is creating the nature's outside of us. So you getting lost in religion or science is a form of hell, because you're not connected to the nature, the more expanded awareness that people like me see. The natives knew this as well. People who are connected to the land. If you're not connected to nature, then you're disconnected from, the holy, the God. Because we are, like I said, we are nature itself. We are made of the same material, like Earth. We breathe in the same air as Earth. We have air inside of us. We have fluid inside of us, like the water. And our physical body is like Earth. Just like when you die, the flesh goes back to the dirt. Everything that dies makes up the earth. It adds on. So our spirit, as we evolve into, species, our spirit keeps expanding and taking higher forms and creating, a bigger atmosphere for ourselves, a bigger vessel. But to understand that is to go deep within inside of you and not be in an ego, not getting lost in your biases or desires, or not getting lost in your emotions that leads to your comfort zone. So based on how we learn through the system and how we think is normal, being, how these people colonized everything and have everything in control, these are not your belief systems. That's their belief systems, and they're teaching you their belief systems, aka their religions, their sciences, and all these retarded toxic shit that doesn't make you relatable amongst each other and build a community, which should be common sense. So how is it that people just live with all these ignorance, with so much ignorance, that they're not willing to see past themselves, past their ego, and understand that, okay, it's not about me. And it's got to be deeper. See, once you go through that train of thought, you're opening yourself up to a more expanded awareness. And when you expand your mentality, God is able to give you more insight on how to see things, on how to have all these visions, and you're able to see more, and you're able to learn more because you're becoming more aware of your environment. So you cannot justify all these science, all these people, all these scientists who think they know it all, or you think they're professional at what they do, and they have the highest knowledge, which is false, and it's nonsense, because you're a spirit just like yourself, just like them, and you're able to learn as much as you think they know, which they don't know shit. They're extremely limited. So you have the ability to go deeper than inside yourself and be more spiritual and understand the world better. And by doing so, you have to meditate. You just have to have that intent inside of you to learn more and get out of your ego and get out of your comfort zone, because your comfort zone can be tied to your ego. You don't like it. People just want to be comfortable, but your emotions, our emotions, is how we create the world. Just think about it. Based on everybody's comfort level and their emotions and how the system makes life hard, that is how we're building the world. But it goes deeper than that, because your spirit is creating the mind and intelligence and awareness, and however we are visualizing our reality, that is the comfort zone that we're creating. That's the vibrations condensing into physical reality. So the spirit is nothing becoming something. So it developed an intelligence, a vision, an idea. That idea became something the spirit can visualize and jump into and experience. And that experience is how we are vibrating into physical existence. Your thoughts and feelings create physical existence. And we live inside of God. So we're just creating more experience and expansion inside of God and creating our natures. So this is the only real truth that can make people more in service towards God and nature, instead of being stuck in your biases and being self-serving, which everybody is doing at the same time. Millions of people are just being self-serving. Billions of people are being self-serving and not being helpful. They're just living dividedly inside of their own homes and whatever. So it's ridiculous, because not even animals do this. Animals already know what to do. They're already aligned on how to do and what to do, based on it's just what the spirit it's just what the spirit is aware to do. And humans are so lost and indoctrinated that they just lost their way. They're disconnected. And it deals with ego. It deals with the ego. Once you get lost in your ego, and and in your comfort zone, that's why we're in this mess. So people need to learn how to get out of their emotions, because when you die, we all come back here, because we are blood cells inside of the earth, inside of this being that we're in. Just like you have cells inside of you. It's a evolutionary process. Birth, death, rebirth, evolution. Birth, death, rebirth, evolution. The same way you was born out of your parents, and you didn't know why you would, it's like you're not aware of the mechanism of how it's creating. The masculine is the idea, the thought. The feminine is the emotions. Men are more masculine. They're more able to think, provide, and understand perspectives. And they're all about the mind. They're all about the mental. And they think about solutions and getting things done. Females are more about nurturing and taking in, internalizing, and giving birth to new experiences. And these two energies are supposed to work together to create another energy. So it's simple spiritual science that people need to understand. And people, like I said, people need to get out of their ego. And I don't know, people just think they're going somewhere after death. They think it's YOLO, whatever. Shit, you humans are done. You humans are fucking done. But you have to change. You have to see past yourselves. You can't. It's not normal to be unrelatable. It's not normal to be disconnected. Something is wrong with the environment, and that's because of the system. That's because of the world. How the colonizers made the world, and all these people who are in power, they're the ones who's leeching off of you are building the world for them. And all it takes is for people to wake up and get out of their ego and their comfort zones. Because this is the truth, when you pass away, you're gonna come back here and do it again. You're gonna work for this, you're gonna go through the educational system again. You're gonna make friends like you thought you did in your childhood. You're gonna go through the same struggles. You're gonna get a job again. You're gonna work. You're gonna go to school again. Because this is where we're at. This is the earth. This is the home that we're at. You built your house out of the natures around home, around the earth. So it's made out of the same material. The earth is your home. It's your first home. And you're building another home on top of your home. Do you get it? Like, you literally take the materials from earth to build the home. And it's like people don't respect the original home, aka the earth, the spirit. It's a spirit just like you. Earth is a spirit just like you. And people are just disrespecting nature and disrespecting themselves by not taking accountable and seeing past their ego, past their comfort zones, and all of these retarded biases that makes up the world, that disconnects everybody and makes everybody unrelatable. And you have to be the one that brings change. You have to change for the better, because when that day comes, when you die, how can you be so sure that's what's going to happen? And that's what you think is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You're gonna, our minds expire, and we develop new minds. You're not going to keep the same mind when you reincarnate back here, but your spirit is going to be more expanded based on what you did and how you experienced life. So if you are a degenerate, if you are an unintelligent person, if you're a wicked person, that's what your mind is on. That's what your spirit, that's what you develop within your spirit. And that's what you're gonna gravitate towards being. That's the mind, that's the space that you developed in all these things that you put in your space, aka your spirit. Your spirit is your space. And we have a lot of people like that roaming on earth who don't know themselves. So it is also the system. The system got to change too. People who are in power are retarded as fuck, and they have to provide the educational system, the real spiritual system that we're talking about, so they can heal back everything that's supposed to be here, instead of destroying it by destroying the people. Because once you indoctrinate the people, now it's destroying everything. So the system has to wake the fuck up and get out of their ego as well, because they're lost in the ego and they're retarded. Whoever's in power, if you're lost in power, you're lost in ego, and you're disconnected from God and nature. So what you're doing doesn't make sense, and you're lost in that comfort zone. You're lost in your emotions. So, and this is true. What you're doing is wrong. And when you meet your maker, God is gonna put you through that test. He's gonna put you through that hell. You can't get away with shit like that. You made too many people retarded, and you made too many spirits get lost. And you made too many spirits go through hell. And I cannot, whatever hell you're going through is unimaginable. And whatever the best thing you could do right now is to do as we say. Shout out to Uriel and the others. I'm going to just leave it at that. Peace.